Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Abbey College webinar for the Year 8 Options Evening. My name is Mrs. Jane Warne, and I'm Assistant Head Teacher responsible for options. I am recording this webinar so that we can make it available on the website after this evening, so that if you need to go back to it, you can. Hopefully it will be on there tomorrow during the day. I do hope that you have found the links into the subject areas useful and that you've had an opportunity to look through the options booklet that I sent to your inboxes on the 8th of February. The booklet is available on our website under the options tab, should you need to access another copy. The aim of this webinar this evening is to take you through the options process and to provide you with an overview of our Key Stage curriculum here at Abbey College, Key Stage 4 curriculum. This presentation won't be able to go through each subject, I'm sure you can imagine. But the subject links have got lots of information in them and much more than I could possibly fit into one webinar. And of course, there is lots and lots of information about each of our subjects in the options booklet. Before I get started, I would like to spend a moment recognising what is frankly the Herculean efforts of your children, our wonderful students, during this period of lockdown. It's been the most challenging year for all of them, and we know how challenging that has been and how daunting it may well feel for some of you as you are now choosing your options. But we urge you, please don't worry, Year 8. The whole of the Abbey College school community is behind you, and we are here to support you through every step of the way. This virtual evening is just a very small part of that. Okay. So I would like to start this evening by highlighting the Abbey College learning journey. This infographic illustrates the journey that every student undertakes during their time at Abbey College and provides an insight into the skills that are developed as each student progresses. Now, I do appreciate this image is a bit on the small side on my slide, but there is a full version in the options booklet and also a really lovely version on our website under curriculum, under the curriculum tab. Your child will soon complete Key Stage 3 and is now ready to take the next step in their academic journey. But as you will see, our curriculum journey is comprehensive in both academic, technical and creative opportunities. And the skills that your child and every child in Year 8 have developed throughout Key Stage 3 are going to be built upon and developed further as they move into Key Stage 4 or Years 9, 10 and 11. Of particular note, and at the heart of everything we do in our school community, is the Abbey College spirit, which is embodied by our virtues of passion, humility, and intuition. And as your child moves into Key Stage 4 and Year 8, as you are now making your next steps, that Abbey College spirit will move with you all the way up until post-16 study and hopefully for life afterwards. In conjunction with the Abbey spirit, our Year 8 students and Year 7, of course, all the way through have worked on a series of pillars that embody the Key Stage curriculum at Abbey College. The pillars are a series of skills in writing, reading, mathematics, oracy or the spoken word, creativity and problem solving that are embedded into learning and assessment in Years 7 and 8. And as they now prepare to move steadfast into Key Stage 4, students will continue to develop these important skills, although they won't be assessed on them. The pillars are not only relevant and valuable throughout their schooling, but I feel very strongly, and I know the school community agree, that they are relevant and valuable skills for life. And so now it's time for your child to choose their pathway for Key Stage 4. And so far, every Year 8 student has received a Fast Tomato update, where they've had an opportunity to have a look at career options and areas of interest in terms of careers. They've received a series of taster sessions. They've had to be virtual, of course, but they've received these taster sessions in their form time. They've had extensive support from form tutors and, of course, from their RSL, Mrs. Sharpley, who has also held options assemblies with information in there. And of course, on the 8th of February, I sent out the options booklet for everyone to have a look at. And then we are here this evening for this virtual options evening. Now, of course, it doesn't stop there, and there's a little bit more on that to come, but tomorrow is a dedicated options thinking day, which again gives you further opportunity to think about which subjects you would like to take. Choosing subject options is one of the biggest decisions that your child will have made so far in their lives, certainly in their school lives. But it needn't be a scary prospect, as I said earlier. With guidance, which we are here to give, with research, and with asking questions, your child will be able to navigate towards the right choices for them. And of course, the right choices in Year 8 can pave the way to future successes and deep fulfillment. I've already mentioned that Key Stage 4 incorporates Year 9, 10 and 11. And this means that the Key Stage 4 courses will in the main be for 3 years. Many schools have moved away from a 3-year model. However, here at Abbey College, we embrace the 3-year Key Stage 4 as it allows for 60 additional hours per option subject, broader and deeper learning opportunities, more time to develop exam technique, which is a really important feature and something that is developed very much so throughout the Key Stage 4 courses, and therefore, of course, better outcomes. Our Key Stage 4 curriculum structurally consists of 2 elements. A compulsory core curriculum, which is driven by the English Baccalaureate, and of course the option subjects, which are a mixture of technical and creative and academic subjects that your child will be choosing over the course of the next week. But what do I mean by academic and technical? Well, academic subjects are usually GCSEs and have all of their exams at the end of the course. Vocational or BTEC subjects have a high percentage of coursework which is completed from Year 9 and counts towards the final grade. There are also some exams during BTEC courses, but principally it's coursework. What's important to note is that one is not easier than the other. So please don't use that as a feature when you are making your selections. We recommend that students think about taking a vocational or creative subject amongst their choices. Well, core curriculum has got a lot of academic features within it, and so have many of the option subjects. And it's rather wonderful to be able to balance that against a vocational or creative subject. So what I'd like to do now is talk to you a little bit about GCSEs, the structure of GCSEs, and also the BTEC award. So in 2016, the way that GCSEs are awarded changed. The traditional letter system, you may well know this, some may not, of A star to G was replaced by a numerical system of grades 1 to 9, with 1 being the lowest and 9 being the highest. And so here, this table, which is replicated, of course, in the options booklet, just gives you an idea of where those grades sit, because they're not a like for like. As you can see, a grade 7 is equivalent to an old A grade, and a number 4, or a grade 4, is equivalent to a C. Grade 5 is kind of in the middle. It's a C plus or a B minus, so upper end of a C, lower end of a B. Let's move that forward. Why is that not moving? That's better. So sorry, I had a technical problem. So to move on to higher education, whether that's A-level or a level 3 BTEC diploma, most subjects require a grade 4 to 5 at GCSE as a minimum. And some may even ask for a grade 6, and that's particularly the case with A-levels, specialist A-levels. So that just gives you kind of a benchmark of where to aim for. In terms of the BTEC, there haven't been any radical overhauls per se, except for in some courses, the introductions of some exams. As I say, there aren't as many as there are in the GCSE courses. But in terms of the grading, you have a pass, a merit, a distinction, and a distinction star. And here in this slide, you can see the equivalency factor of those. So a pass is the equivalent to a GCSE grade 4, merit to a 5 or a 6, A distinction is to a GCSE grade 7. A distinction star is the equivalent to a GCSE grade 8 or 9. So as you can see, there isn't anything in it. It's not a case of one being better over the other. Now, I'd like to spend a moment talking to you about the core curriculum at Abbey College. And this table, as with other features, is replicated in the Options Booklet. Now, our core curriculum covers a wide range of subjects, and that's set out, of course, by the national curriculum. But ours has the added feature of the English Baccalaureate being embedded within it. And I'll explain in more detail in a moment what the English Baccalaureate is all about. Now, as I go through the rest of this presentation, which I hope you have already, if you have any questions, please do feel free to pop them into the question and answer session box, because Mrs. Sharpley is waiting there to have a look at those questions, and we will then take them and put them into a frequently asked questions document, which we will then send to you tomorrow. It's quite hard to keep up with questions at the same time as presenting, so that's how we will get those answers out to you, and we'll make sure that's fairly prompt. Okay, so our core curriculum is made up of English, maths and science, and all of those, of course, are taught for 9 hours per fortnight. And in English, students will study English language and literature, and they have the opportunity in that subject to gain 2 GCSEs. In maths, students will study maths and indeed statistics. All students are given the opportunity to study statistics, which they can sit an exam for in year 10, and that enables them through mathematics to gain 2 separate GCSEs, one for the maths and one for statistics. In science, students will all take triple science. Every student will take the individual sciences, and that yields 3 discrete science qualifications, one in biology, one in chemistry, and one in physics. We also, as our core curriculum, have Spanish and faith and ethics, and these yield 1 GCSE each and take up 4 lessons per fortnight. And we also offer social studies and core PE to make sure that we embed life skills, emotional resilience and well-being into the curriculum. Now, these courses don't have a qualification, although one could argue that actually they may well be, in this current climate, 2 of the most important courses that we offer for students. So what is the Ebacc? I'd like to spend a moment just talking to you about the English Baccalaureate, and you will see this image or these 2 pages in the Options Booklet that give you, they've been published by the Department for Education, and they will give you more information about what the English Baccalaureate is about. But essentially, when we're talking about the Ebacc, we're linking our core curriculum, which is broad, balanced, and highly aspirational. And the Ebacc itself is a short version of the English Baccalaureate. That represents the competitive academic range of subjects that are embodied within our core curriculum. This is a selection of subjects that are viewed as academic and are therefore highly regarded by top universities. And the English Baccalaureate Award includes English, maths, science, a humanities subject, which is geography or history, and a modern foreign language, which at our school is Spanish. Now, many people have asked, why on earth should my child have to take a language? Well, I wanted to take you through something about that. Learning to speak another language should never be underestimated. Firstly, it stimulates the brain. It helps to develop much stronger comprehension and improves memory. And there is evidence to suggest, scientific evidence to suggest, that it even is involved in reducing the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease later in life. Learning to speak another language makes you more employable. Since language learning involves those problem skills, employers commonly seek out people that can speak more than one language, and it can have a significant impact on salary. In addition to that, learning a language helps to get you into top universities. The Russell Group have named languages as subjects that can open doors to lots more courses. It also allows you to explore the rich diversity of cultures across the world and, of course, within the United Kingdom. And I don't know if you knew this, but Spanish is the 2nd largest native language in the world. It's very important that our students have that skill of being able to communicate with global relationships. And finally, it's not as hard as you might think. By the end of your GCSE course, you will have learned a very large range of vocabulary and grammar, but that doesn't mean that you're expected to be fluent. It does mean that you will have learned a huge skill set within the vocabulary and grammar of the Spanish GCSE. So it's something at Abbey College that we feel very strongly about, that students should take a language. And we're very proud that we offer that as part of our core curriculum. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the option blocks. Of course, you'll find full information about each of our option blocks in the option booklet, and as well as obviously the subject videos that are on the website for you to look at. But in essence, there are 3 option blocks available. One of those includes a humanity choice, and then there are 2 free choice blocks. And students must choose one from each of those blocks and then one reserve. Very important that you don't forget to pick a reserve, because in the unlikely event, and it is unlikely, that we're not able to offer a course, at least then we know what your second choice was. So here is an example, a screenshot of the option blocks that again you'll find in the options booklet that you've been emailed and is also on the website. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, there is the humanity choices, and then you've got block A and block B. And when you go to the options form, you will see it laid out just like that, with a few other questions that we need to know, obviously, to identify each student. So you have a range of choices in block A, a range of choices in block B. You need to choose one from block A, one from block B, and a reserve can come from either. Okay. Each option has 4 lessons or 4 periods per fortnight. But as we say, that is also part of our 3-year programme. So there's a tremendous amount of subject coverage time within the curriculum for the option subjects. Something of note is that, of course, all students take core PE. That's part of our core curriculum. It's part of the wellbeing and fitness element of our curriculum. So it's worth noting that students who take sport studies will have an additional 4 hours of sport per fortnight on top of that core allocation. The choice of subjects that we offer is wide and includes both academic, technical, and of course, creative opportunities. The list of options, of course, can be found in the options booklet. I didn't want to spend too long focusing on the table. You can go back to that, and of course it is there available on our website if you need it. Most options lead to a GCSE or an equivalent, as I say, a BTEC qualification. I'd like to spend a moment now going through some of the considerations to put into place when you are choosing your options year 8. And parents, this is really for you to support your child in how they go about choosing their subjects. In essence, I'm going to go through it in a bit more detail, but you need to try and balance the following factors. You need to think about the interest, you need to think about enjoyment, and then you need to think about making it balanced and broad, so that you have a range of different aspects to your curriculum as you go into your GCSE years. So let's have a look at some of the do's and don'ts. Now, I do apologise for the size of this, so I hope you can see it. I'm just going to whiz over it if that's okay. The first thing I've mentioned already, that's to remember that all courses are of equal standard and value. One is not better than the other. So it's entirely up to you, based on a series of other factors, which course you take. Choose the courses that you're likely to enjoy and that you're interested in. And then think about the variety, as I say, to keep that broad and balanced approach to it. Think about courses in which you're likely to achieve success, or you think, actually, I'm likely to achieve success. Now, that is highly linked to the second one about interest as well, or if you're already doing well in it, for example. Think about courses that fit with your future needs. And I'm going to mention a bit more about that in a moment. Although the core curriculum is designed to provide breadth and a solid groundwork, there may be things that you want to carry on at post-16. Do remember that courses last for 3 years, so please take your time in researching ask those necessary questions, because you won't be able to change your mind in year 10. Think about the method of assessment, and the options booklet has got lots of information about the method of assessment, so that you can find out, how many exams there will be, for example, and how long they are in some courses. Find out about careers. Now, each of the subjects in the options booklet have got a section in there that not only has an illustrated bar to tell you the kind of careers that are linked to that subject, but there is also a hyperlink that takes you to a careers page to give you more information about how that curriculum matches to careers. And that is a really good thing to do, because researching careers that you're interested in, and I know you're only year 8 and you may well change your mind lots of times, that's perfectly fine. But if you have an area of interest and you go and research what those careers are like, it really helps provide you with a goal to focus on as you go through your GCSEs. Please talk to your parents, your teachers, and of course, the careers team. Mrs. Pollard and Mrs. Neville are always there to talk to you if you've got any questions about how your core subjects would link into your career aspirations. Now, none of these people will be able to make the decision for you, year 8, but they will be able to offer you a perspective that might help guide you. And then do be realistic in your choices. Think about commitments outside of school. You may have drama club, music club, and sports club, and all of those are important, and they need to complement your academic choices. So just bear in mind that you may have things that are after school that might actually benefit you, or in some instances hinder. So it's something to think about. And let's think about the don'ts. Please don't choose a subject just because your friends are having thoughts about taking that subject. Your friends may change over the next 3 years. And not only that, it's unlikely that you will be in the same class. Many subjects run more than one class, and we can't guarantee that because you've chosen to go with your friend, you would be in the same class. Please don't choose a subject just because you really like the teacher. That's nearly always the reason that people choose a subject. You might get a different one at Key Stage 4. Choose a subject that, please do not choose a subject that you don't enjoy just because it fits with your career needs. So whilst it's a really good idea to think about the career aspirations that you have and link subjects to that, if you already really don't like that subject, don't take it. That's not the one for you. Please don't base your choices on what your parents or your carers choose. It is you, not your parents, that will study that course for the full 3 years, and you that has to sit the exam. However, do speak to your parents. They've been where you are and they have a lot of experience to share with you. And please then, finally, don't choose a new subject without researching what is required throughout the course. Speak to your teachers, consider the taster lessons that you were shown, have a look around again this evening on our virtual options evening, all of the little clips, and then tomorrow spend some time really thinking about that. Research, in my opinion, as a scientist, is time never wasted. One last thing I just mentioned earlier I was going to come back to. It's worth noting, if you have a focus already, that many post-16 courses, such as A-levels, they do require you to have taken the subject at GCSE if you want to study it. So if you are interested in taking up an A-level later on, and I appreciate, again, that's quite a way off at the moment, do have a think about taking that course at GCSE. Now, this comes with a health warning, of course, because there are many A-levels that aren't linked to GCSE. So, for example, criminology. At post-16, we offer criminology, and there are a variety of other courses that wouldn't apply. And so in that case, the sciences and things like that would see you through. But if you can see that there is a clear link between a GCSE and an option subject at A-level, and again, they're available on our website if you'd like to have a little look at those in your research, then do think about making those links. Okay, I just wanted to spend a moment mentioning again about our Options Thinking Day, which is tomorrow, the 26th of February. So tomorrow, all Year 8 students are going to have an opportunity to spend some time thinking about their options. And whilst that's happening, there won't be any lessons. So the Year 8 classes won't be happening tomorrow. And instead, what we would like you to do is to spend the day with your options booklet and just, even if it's on the back of a piece of paper, thinking about the subjects that you are really interested in and the ones that you would like to explore further. Now, Year 8 teachers will be available to you. So if you had a lesson tomorrow, well, any lessons that you would have tomorrow, those teachers will be available to you on the chat, and so you can then send them an email or a message via Microsoft Teams. However, any other teachers that you message, just bear in mind that they might have other classes because that's still happening, and so therefore they may take a little bit longer to come back to you. But please do ask those questions. The teachers are there to support you. It matters to them that you are confident in the choices that you're making. So please do ask those questions. And then finally, Mrs. Sharpley, your Raising Standards lead, of course, and myself will be available online throughout the day. So if there's a non-subject query that you've got, my first tip is please, could you go to the options booklet? Because obviously we're very busy too. And what I'd like you to do is look at the options booklet. If you can't find the answer there and you have a query, then please, by all means, drop us a line and we will get back to you as quickly as we can. The options booklet, as I said, I urge you to spend the time looking through it. That was emailed back home on the 8th of February to every parent. It's also available, as I've said a few times, on the school website under the options tab. It has information on every course, including the core subjects. It also has example careers that are relevant to each subject. Within there is a sample options form and also a timeline of key dates. The most important one is the 4th of March, which is the deadline for submission. And also it has a link to those amazing extracurricular opportunities for Year 9 students, which of course are the Duke of Edinburgh scheme, the ASCA music tuition, and of course the Young Technicians extracurricular club that we offer. Now that's, they're open to Year 9 and onwards, of course, but it's really important that we highlight those to you now because that's quite an exciting feature of the options year. Although you're not choosing it, it's something that as a subject, it's something extracurricular to look forward to, particularly when we've been home for so long. So what are the next steps for students and for everyone from here? So from today, from now, you'll find a link on the website with the online options form. I am asking you, please, not to go there from this evening and to complete that options form. The reason for that is it is absolutely critical that each student only fills it in once. So this is why we've put a sample form in the back of the options booklet so that you can have a go at writing down your ideas and putting in your options choices. Once you've done that and you're absolutely firm on the choices that you'd like to make, then please do go ahead and complete the form online. That will come straight to Mrs. Sharpley and myself, and we will then be able to allocate that accordingly and try and match your choices, which we're very optimistic we'll be able to do. Tomorrow, please spend some time asking questions if you need to. And it doesn't have to just be tomorrow. So if we've just allocated that time for that. Of course, if you need extra questions and it's outside of tomorrow, that's absolutely fine. Drop us a line and we will get back to you as quickly as we can with the information that you need. I do encourage you to please check the options booklet first. Please make sure when you are looking at your options that you choose a reserve. And remember, that can be from column A or B. Take your time, Year 8. It's very hard to change your pathway afterwards. And finally, please complete that form by no later than the 4th of March, 2021. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the end of this live webinar. I do apologise that we don't have a forum to be able to answer questions in a live fashion. It's not the way we would like to do things, but I do hope that you have found it a suitable substitute in the current climate. Please feel free to add any other questions. I'll just be here for another moment or two into the chat. As I say, Mrs. Sharpley is there collating those questions and we will get back to you tomorrow. We'll send the answers out to every parent and we'll also put them on the website. Okay, I do hope that you have found this presentation useful. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing your students, your children, as soon as they come back to school. They've been very, very missed. If you need any information, please do feel free to drop Mrs. Sharpley or myself, Mrs. Jane Warne, an email. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a lovely evening. Good night.